Good evening. I would like to welcome the taxpayers of the 15th Ward and West Chicago Township to this evening's virtual event. Tonight's event is hosted by Cook County Board of Review Commissioner Tammy Went of the 1st District, along with Alderman Raymond Lopez of the 15th Ward. My name is Ralph Bargansky, and I serve as Communications Director and member of Residential Analyst Team for Commissioner Went. Tonight, Commissioner Went will be aided by members of her team who will be able to help answer questions after tonight's presentation. A couple things before we begin. Please utilize the mute function for tonight's presentation as a courtesy. And this presentation will be recorded, and a link to this video will be emailed within a few days to everyone who is registered for tonight's event. It will be also posted on our website at tammywent.com and also on YouTube at, if you just keyword search Tammy Went. And we'll also make this available to Alderman Lopez's office as well. Again, thank you for being part of tonight's presentation. I now turn it over to Alderman Raymond Lopez. Alderman.
Thank you, Ralph, and good evening, everyone. I'm Alderman Raymond Lopez of Chicago's 15th Ward. I want to thank all of you for joining us tonight and particularly having our commissioner from the Board of Review, Tammy Went, here to help us learn how to appeal the increased assessments on your properties. You know, property taxes are like sausage. No one knows how they happen, but we do know that if you're assessed more, you will pay more. And I'm very thankful to Commissioner Went to show us how we can appeal those increased assessments, keep your taxes low, and to get your fair share for your home. With that, I would like to turn it over to the commissioner herself, my good friend, Commissioner Tammy Went.
Thank you so much, Alderman. I am so happy to be here. Can everyone hear me? Okay. All right. Well, good evening to the City of Chicago's 15th Ward and everyone else who's joined us tonight. We're happy to have you here. Thank you again to Alderman Lopez and his staff. I have to say, if you live in his ward, you are very blessed because he is the absolute best alderman in the city of Chicago. No doubt. So who am I? I am Cook County Board of Review's 1st District Commissioner. I practiced law for over 20 years before I ran for office. This is my time to give back. It's not easy dealing with Cook County politics, as you all know, but I'm not here for the politicians. I'm here for you. I was born and raised in the south suburbs in a working class community. I'm not a career politician, and I did this to help regular people like me and you. I know how hard it is to pay your bills, to pay your mortgage, and to pay your property taxes. My job is to make sure you aren't paying more than you should. We are doing great things for taxpayers since we came aboard only a short time ago. I hired a phenomenal staff of analysts who have been working their tails off for you, the taxpayers. A handful of my analysts are here tonight, as you can see with their green screens, to help answer your questions in both English and Spanish. Your part of Cook County, which is West Township, most of you, will open at the Board of Review in a couple weeks, and we want to make sure that you're ready to file your appeal. So my Chief of Staff, Todd Thielman, and his team are here to deliver the presentation. We are trying something new tonight. We'll present in both English and Spanish. We will explain what we do at the Board of Review and what you need to know for filing a property tax appeal on your residence. The presentation will likely answer most of your questions, but afterwards we'll be here to help answer individual questions also. So write them down as we go along. So please respond afterwards. You're going to get a survey. Please respond to that so that we can continue to improve our outreach efforts. And without further ado, I will now turn it over for our PowerPoint presentation to my Chief of Staff, Todd Thielman. Todd, take it away.
Thank you. Thank you, Alderman. Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you for all the concerned citizens and constituents and taxpayers of Cook County's West Chicago and 15th Ward areas. Property taxes is just part of life, death and taxes, you know, the old saying. So we're going to do a presentation tonight. We're trying a new thing, like the Commissioner said. I'm going to present it in English, and then Yesenia, our analyst, is going to present it in Spanish. It's about 25 minutes. Please be patient with us as we try this new process, and then we'll have a question and answer session. So I'm going to share my screen right now with the presentation and just follow along. I hope you find some excitement here. We try to make property taxes as exciting as possible. Can everybody see my screen? The PowerPoint? Okay. So what is the Board of Review, or who is the Board of Review? So we're a separate agency than the Cook County Assessor. Being in West Chicago, Cook County Assessor has probably sent you reassessment notices by now. You're probably urgently waiting for maybe your reply from the Cook County Assessor. And based on that, you'll look to maybe file an appeal at the Board of Review. So we're a separate agency than the Cook County Assessor, which is a good thing for the public. We're the check and balance part of government. So an appeal must be filed at the Board of Review, though, for us to take jurisdiction. We can't proactively say, hey, we think your property is overassessed. Let me take a look at it. You need to inform us. And as a residential property owner, you do not need to hire a lawyer to file an appeal.
¿Qué es la Junta de Revisión? La Junta de Revisión es una agencia separada del asesor del condado de Cook. El asesor es el que determina el valor a su propiedad que se utiliza para determinar la factura de sus impuestos. No se necesita que contratar a un abogado para apelar. Usted puede presentar una apelación con la Junta de Revisión si cree que su propiedad pudo haber sido sobreevaluada.
What are the potential benefits of appealing? Obviously, possible assessment reduction. That's what we're looking for. We're looking to reduce your assessment. The opportunity for multi-year savings. This is really important in this year for West Chicago. It's the first year of the reassessment, so it's going to carry over for 3 years. There's no fee to file at the Board of Review. You have already paid for this service, and we will not increase your assessment. So don't be fearful of that. If we look at your property and we think it's underassessed, you know, that's good on you. We're not going to do anything about that.
¿Cuáles son los beneficios de apelar? Una posible reducción y no aumentaremos su evaluación de impuestos. Si apela en el primer año trienal y se concede una reducción en el valor de los impuestos, en casi todos los casos se mantiene hasta la próxima reevaluación en 3 años. Por ejemplo, este es el primer año trienal. Entonces, si apela y se le concede una reducción, significa que estará bien hasta el año 2024 y es gratis para presentar una apelación.
So what are the grounds for an appeal? The majority of the appeals that we see are based on uniformity, and uniformity is a concept of, is the house just like my house valued the same, and is that the same as the next house and the next house? Are we all uniform in valuation? So that's the main ground for appeal. There's also, if you had purchased your property in the last 3 years and it's assessed at a higher level than the price that was paid, that's a reason for appeal. The sale has to be within 3 years, and there's some requirements on that as far as what they call arm's length sale. So you can't sell your house to your child and then for the market to consider that an arm's length sale. Even though it can be, it's going to be questioned and probably not taken as an arm's length sale. Factual error, what that means is if there's an error on the square footage of your property that the assessor has. So the assessor holds what's called the characteristics of property. It's their jurisdiction. So if your house is 1,200 square feet, and that's what the assessor has, 1,200 square feet, but your house is really 900 square feet, that's an issue with the characteristic. We could look at those appeals, but we're going to need a different level of evidence, most likely a plat of survey, some architectural drawings, an affidavit. And we can't change the characteristics beyond the appeal year. The assessor has to do what's called a field check, where they'll actually come out and look at your property and maybe tour the inside of your property with your permission, of course, to change that. If you're looking for that change, obviously you'd welcome into your house and say, look at my house, it's not 1,200 square feet. And then vacancy. So vacancy is the concept if for really an act of God, fire, flood, some catastrophe that happens, we can look at granting vacancy based on the proration of the year. So if in July 1st, your house becomes uninhabitable due to flood, for the rest of the year, we can get you an abatement on property taxes. You have to provide additional evidence, fire report or police reports, insurance claims, permits from the city or the village, things like that for vacancy.
¿Cuáles son los motivos para apelar y qué incluir para respaldar la apelación residencial? La primera sería por falta de uniformidad. Las mejores propiedades comparables se encuentran en su misma cuadra dentro de su mismo código de clasificación y son parecidas al suyo en pies cuadrados, edad y tamaño. Si apela basada en uniformidad, no se necesita pruebas. La segunda sería si hay una compra reciente en los últimos 3 años. Si el precio de compra es más que el valor justo del mercado aplicado por el asesor, por favor de proporcionar los documentos del cierre para apoyar su caso. La tercera sería error factual. Si la descripción de la propiedad es incorrecta, por ejemplo, los pies cuadrados habitable, y la casa está sobrevaluada por esa razón, puedes presentar una apelación. Necesitas pruebas de dibujos de arquitectos o planos de levantamiento. Se le puede conceder un alivio temporal, pero el cambio permanente debe hacerse en la oficina del asesor. Y la última es si la propiedad ha estado vacante por daños causados por incendio, inundación o una demolición o otras circunstancias imprevisibles que hacen su propiedad inhabitable. Pueden presentar una apelación. Necesita pruebas de reporte de policía o de los bomberos, declaración jurada de vacante con fotografías y fechas, los reclamos de seguro, permisos de construcción y comprobantes de pago, cuando se desocupó y cuándo se volvió a mudar a la residencia. También indique si el permiso de ocupación fue revocado o posteriormente reinstalado.
For the first reason to file an appeal, it was comparables or uniformity. So there's tools to help you find uniformity within your neighborhood. The easiest one that we have found to use is a county product. It's called Cook County Viewer. You can find it at cookcountyviewer.gov. And it allows you to type in your PIN, your property index number, and then it'll generate some comparables based on the criteria of your property. Now, don't get me wrong, a lot of people find the comparable work and methodology to be the biggest hurdle to filing their appeals. Really, in all honesty, you don't even need to provide comparables for the Board of Review. If we receive an appeal and there are no comparables attached and there's no other evidence attached, we're going to assume it's based on uniformity, and we will do a uniformity analysis for you. So don't let that be the hurdle that prevents you from filing an appeal. We're here to help you. We're here to look at the properties around you to find out whether you're uniform or not. So don't let the confusion or the added work of trying to find comparable evidence persuade you from filing an appeal. Go ahead and file an appeal and we'll help you out.
Este es el proceso para encontrar propiedades comparables en su cuadra. Visita el sitio web que ve en pantalla.
All right, so there's an ability, the Board of Review has a website. You can find it at cookcountyboardofreview.com. And you can file appeals electronically, and probably 95% of our appeals are filed electronically now. And there's some advantages to that. And we'll walk you through that right now. And it's basically equates to registering or creating an account at the Board of Review. So if you register at the Board of Review, and we're going to walk through that in a minute here, there's some benefits you receive from that. A couple notes first. You can register at any time. You can, I'll walk you through our portal in a second. If you have registered in the past and you forgot your password or forgot your username, we don't have a dynamic password reset function. You actually have to call the Board of Review. It's obvious our website needs updating, but if you call the Board of Review at 312-603-5542, most likely you're going to leave a voicemail and they will return your call and walk you through resetting your password, or they'll reset your password for you and they'll let you know. I'm going to walk you through that in a second, though. We're going to go and let Yesenia give her speech.
¿Por qué debe registrarse con la Junta de Revisión? Al registrarte, permitirás que seas notificado de la apertura y cierre de los periodos de presentación para sus respectivos municipios. Los propietarios pueden crear una cuenta a través del sitio web de apelaciones o registrarse llamando al número que ve en pantalla. La información requerida es su municipio, nombre, dirección de la propiedad y número de índice.
Okay, so this is the main page at the Board of Review. When you go to boardofreview.com, you'll see this page will be your splash page. If you go up in the upper right-hand corner, you see the yellow or orange tab that says Submit Appeal. That's basically where you'd go register. It's probably mismarked by saying Submit Appeal, but that's where you go to register.
Aquí es donde se registra o crea una cuenta para apelaciones en el sitio web de Cook County Board of Review.
Okay, so this is the next page. It's going to look like this. You're going to have three options: go to the home, log in, register, or submit appeal as a guest. We want to be adamant that we want people to register as guests. There's certain you get certain benefits of that. So if you submit appeal as a guest, I think I said that wrong, but you want to register. You don't want to submit appeal as a guest. If you submit appeal as a guest, you're not going to get updates on the status of your appeal. You're not going to get updates if we opening or closing your townships. So by registering, you're going to have some more rights. And what I mean by rights are you're going to get more information from the Board of Review to keep you informed.
Después, haga clic aquí para acceder a su cuenta o puede registrarse para crear una cuenta en línea.
So you click on the login register, you're going to get to the next page, and this is going to be where you're either going to create your new user if you've never done it before, or you're going to log in with your username and password. Again, if you don't remember your password, you can call the phone number 312-603-5542. We'll have that at the end of the slide as well, end of the presentation as well. If you're a new user, you're going to click new user or register here, and then you're going to create your username and password. Please write it down. And then you're going to enter your name, your email, your address, and then there's going to be a box to check that says you're not an attorney, and you'll see that page in a second here. Yesenia, you're up.
Okay. Si ya estás registrado, debes introducir el nombre de usuario y la contraseña. Para los que van a crear una nueva cuenta por primera vez, lo primero es crear un nombre de usuario y contraseña. Después vas a introducir su nombre, correo electrónico, dirección y va a confirmar que la información esté correcta. No te registres como abogado. También, por favor, de guardar su número de usuario y contraseña, ya que usted lo necesitará para acceder a su cuenta. Para recuperar su contraseña, en caso que se le olvide, por favor, llame al número que ve en pantalla, el 312-603-5542.
There we go. Sorry. Also from this page, if you wanted to look at your, if you had registered, you can look at your appeals in here. You would go to My Appeals and you would look at the status of your appeal. You'll have the history of your appeals in the past. And then you can also, this is where you would submit your appeal after you register.
También puede ver el estado de las apelaciones anteriores en la sección Mis apelaciones. Tras acceder a su cuenta o crear una nueva, se le pedirá que presente una apelación.
One other thing that this slide represents is if you'll see the body of the slide, it'll say File and Appeal, Pre-Registration Townships, and Pre-File Townships. Right now, those are populated with townships in the county. When this slide was created, the Board of Review was not open. So right now, pre-registration townships, West would be one of those pre-registration townships. So you guys are West, or most of you are probably West. So you're in what we call pre-registration. So when you finally comes to submit your appeal after you've registered, you're going to get this slide. It's going to ask you to put in your PIN, or actually first it's going to ask you what type of appeal would you like. And property over assessed is the only option. I know it looks like there's a drop down there, but property over assessed is the only option. The second line there would be your PIN, your property index number, and I'll show you where you find that if you're unaware in a second. And then again, there's another prompt asking you again if you're an attorney. Click no, and then you're going to click the CAPTCHA box, I am not a robot.
El proceso para apelar es simple y directo. Vas a seleccionar el tipo de apelación que desea presentar. Va a seleccionar propiedad sobrevaluada, ya que es la única opción disponible. Va a introducir el número de índice de la propiedad de 14 dígitos que se encuentra en la factura de impuestos. Recuerde, no se registre como abogado cuando se le pida y va a seleccionar no soy un robot para pasar a la siguiente pantalla.
All right, the next screen usually causes some confusion for people. Sometimes there's properties that have more than one PIN. So they have 2 pins and they might have their house that straddles the 2 pins. And what we call that other pin is an associated pin. So a lot of people will get confused on this. They'll say, what's an associated pin? 90% of the properties in Cook County will have 1 pin. But if you did have more than 1 pin, you're going to put your other pin in there. Do not put comparables in this spot. There's an option on that drop-down menu. You can also select no additional pins and then hit submit.
La siguiente pantalla se le preguntará si su propiedad tiene algún PIN asociado. Seleccione no, ya que la mayoría de las propiedades residenciales solo tienen un PIN. Si su propiedad tiene más de un PIN, seleccione sí individualmente del menú desplegable. Va a añadir los PINs asociados y va a seleccionar enviar para continuar.
So the next screen will prompt you for your name, your address, your phone number, your email address, and you need to confirm your email address. This is really important that this information here is correct. So make sure you pay attention on inputting your email addresses here in your information.
En esta pantalla se le pedirá que introduzca la información de su cuenta y la propiedad. Después va a confirmar que todo esté correcto y seleccionará hecho para continuar.
This is your second installment property tax bill. And this is where if you're unsure where you'd find your PIN, this is where your PIN would be. It's up in the upper left-hand corner. Also, the second installment property tax bill has your exemptions. So exemptions are an important part of your tax bill. Make sure you have the exemptions that you should have. Any exemptions you're missing, you'd want to contact the assessor. The exemptions are part of the assessor's responsibility. So if you're missing exemptions, homeowners or senior citizen freeze, make sure you contact the assessor's office, or the alderman's office can help you with that as well.
Esta es una copia de la segunda factura de impuestos. Aquí es donde se encuentra el número de índice de la propiedad, extensiones si aplica, la clase de propiedad y las reducciones del año anterior.
So since West is opening probably in a couple of weeks, and if you choose not to file electronically or file digitally using our website, you can still do the old-fashioned paper files. I know the alderman's office has paper files. I think I dropped them off personally there. So if you want help, if you don't want to use the website, the one downside of the website, it is only in English. So if you want something or someone to help you fill out the form, you can help. You can call the alderman's office. You can call the Board of Review. We can help you fill it out as well. A good old-fashioned paper form. Make sure that, the obvious, the logical, make sure it's complete and signed. You have to have it signed. Do not fill anything out below the red line. And then on the right, again, this is not for comparables. This is if you have multiple pins. So you do not need to fill that out, most likely.
Si gusta apelar en forma de papel, él o los dueños deben completar esta parte del formato. También deben de firmar. La parte de abajo es solo para los abogados. Por favor de no incluir propiedades comparables en la parte derecha del formato, ya que esta área es para números de PIN asociados con su propiedad.
All right, I hope I'm not losing you guys. We're about 75% of the way through the slides. So stick with us here, almost finished. So the appeal guidelines. Individual taxpayers, homeowners, you guys, you people, you homeowners, constituents can represent themselves before the Board of Review. As long as the property is not owned by a corporation or an LLC, if it is, it has to be represented by an attorney. And the Board of Review does not allow consultants. So what is a consultant? It's anyone other than the property owner or an attorney. There's people out there that kind of prey on people, say they're going to help them, charge them. We don't allow them to practice before the Board of Review. Also, you need to make sure you file an appeal on or before the date established as our official closing date. So it's estimated that West will open on April 5th. So there'll be a 30-day window. After the 30-day window, West will close. You will not be able to file an appeal in West Township after 30 days. So approximately May 5th. I don't have a calendar in front of me. You need to file on an official Board of Review complaint form or electronically. You can request a hearing for any reason. We hope that if you request the hearing, it's for a unique situation. You know, hearings aren't a place where you can just come and say, I think I'm paying too much in taxes. Please reserve those hearings for reasons that can't be articulated, you know, in an email or in your evidence. And you would request that hearing at the time of filing. So either on the paper form, there was a box to check for a hearing, or electronically, when you file an appeal electronically, there's a box to check if you would like a hearing as well.
Pautas de apelación. Los dueños de propiedades residenciales se pueden representar a sí mismos ante la Junta de Revisión. Si la propiedad es de una corporación o una LLC, la propiedad debe de ser apelada por un abogado, ya que un consultor no te puede representar. Los dueños deben presentar una apelación en o antes de la fecha establecida como fecha de cierre oficial para el municipio en el que se encuentra la propiedad. Las apelaciones deben presentarse en formulario de quejas de la Junta de Revisión Oficial y un número de reclamos se les proporcionará como comprobante de que se ha presentado una apelación. Si desea, usted puede solicitar una audiencia por cualquier razón al momento de presentar un reclamo, pero se sugiere que solicite una solo si cree que su situación es única o si quiere presentar información que no se puede comprender adecuadamente.
How are decisions reached at the Board of Review? The Board of Review is comprised of 3 commissioners, and we're all separated, and that's a good thing. So if at least 2 of the commissioner staffs have to agree on evaluation before there's a change. It happens all the time where we have 3 different opinions and we have to get together and try to figure out, you know, where the disconnect is. But you have to have 2 analysts, one from 2 different commissioners, agree to make any change. We don't hear just appeals from the 1st district. We share appeals from across the whole county. So all 3 commissioners hear appeals from every district. And that's another good thing to make sure that there's no funny business.
¿Cómo se toma una decisión? La Junta de Revisión está compuesta de 3 comisionados de 3 distritos diferentes. Cada apelación es examinado por cada uno de los analistas de cada distrito. La mayoría de la decisión de los 3 analistas separados decidirán si la apelación es un cambio o un no cambio.
So I'm gonna leave you with this. We're winding up here. When your township opens for an appeal, you have 30 days. And again, right now it's estimated West is going to open on April 5th. It's a Tuesday. Some of that is contingent on publications with newspapers, but right now that's our schedule, barring any unforeseen circumstances. Typical appeal process takes 8 to 16 weeks. This year may be a little longer due to some other issues going on. If you did register, and again, I implore you to register an account at the Board of Review, you're going to receive an email notification that your decision is in your account. We don't email the decision. We tell you that the decision is ready for you to view. Any decision or any changes we make are going to be reflected on the 2nd installment property tax bill. And again, we will not increase your assessment. It'll either stay the same or decrease. One thing I want to point out, a lower assessment does not always equal a lower tax bill. Tax bills are generated by your taxing districts. They're how much money that they need to operate. What the Board of Review does is we divide the pie, and then the clerk decides on how much everybody owes. So even if you do win a decrease in the assessment, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to receive a lower tax bill.
Te dejamos con esto. Cuando se abre el plazo para presentar una apelación en su municipio, dispone de 30 días para presentar su queja o a menos que ya haya presentado previamente. El proceso de apelación suele tardar entre 8 a 16 semanas en recibir los resultados. Si está registrado, recibirá una notificación por correo electrónico en la que su decisión se puede ver en su cuenta. Cualquier reducción se reflejará en la factura del segundo plazo del próximo año de impuestos. Como les comentaba, la Junta de Revisión no aumentará su evaluación. Se les concederá una reducción o se mantendrá igual.
So here's our contact information. We're all over the social medias. There's the phone number for the password reset is also on there, 5542. That's the general number at the Board of Review. If you get hung up at any point trying to register, trying to look at your account, password, username, call. We'll help you reestablish your connection. Different ways to get a hold of the commissioner. You'll be able to view this recording at her YouTube channel in a few days, likely. I think it'll be pushed out to anyone who's registered as well.
Si gusta tomar una foto, aquí es donde se puede poner en contacto con nosotros en nuestras plataformas, sea correo electrónico, Facebook, YouTube, la página de la Junta de Revisión, nuestro número telefónico donde también puede agarrar una nueva contraseña, Twitter y nuestra página oficial de Tammy Went.
If you want to join our text list, this is free, it won't cost you anything. Text BOR, Board of Review, BOR, to 74121, and we'll push out any information coming out about different towns opening, closing, different things going on with the Board of Review. We don't send unnecessary texts or anything like that, so you're not going to be spammed. We don't sell any of your information either. So hopefully you'll register, you'll text BOR to 74121, and you'll be in full communication with us as we help you through this process.
Únase a nuestra lista de mensajes de texto para recibir información y notificaciones sobre apelaciones. Mande mensaje de texto BOR al número que ve en pantalla.
So one of the things that people ask me about is, why should I file an appeal? How can I file an appeal? So I just want to say one thing before we turn it back over to the commissioner in questions is, you know your home better than anybody. If the first question I tell people to ask themselves is, do you think your house is worth more or less than the assessed value? That's kind of where you start. Question yourself. If I just received the reassessment from the assessor and it says my house is worth $150,000, but I know that I can't sell it for more than $120,000, it's likely overassessed. And inverse to that, if the assessment says 150 and all of my neighbors are selling their houses for 200,000, it's likely fairly assessed. So just kind of got to figure out where you fall on that horizon and whether or not it'd be worth it for you to appeal. Again, it's free to appeal. It's really easy to appeal. So by all means, appeal, and you should appeal every year. If you win an appeal this year, it carries over for the next 2 years till the next time West Chicago gets assessed. So it's really important that you file on your reassessment year. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to back to the commissioner.
I just want to say thank you again, Alderman Lopez, and all of your staff for putting this together. And what a great turnout. We really had a lot of information here tonight shared with your community. So it's very obvious that you care very much about your community. So thank you for having us. And again, everyone, don't forget to text, sign up for the text alerts so you can receive notices on when your township opens.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
And last word.
You know what? It's been a good hour and a half discussion on learning how to appeal. I want to thank our commissioner for bringing this information and being able to put this on our Facebook and YouTube so that we can refer to this later. If anyone has questions, I know my ward will be happy to help and work with the commissioner's office to ensure that we save you as much money as possible, get your properties assessed as accurately as possible, and most importantly, do right by you, the taxpayers of the city and the county. So thank you. If you need anything, let us know, and have a great and wonderful evening.